Hey everybody, I'm Nathan, and every week I do comic book reviews because that's the rule around my house. If I want to keep buying them, I gotta review them. So this review is going to be for X-Men Legacy number 254 right here. This is written by Mike Carey and drawn by Steve Kurth. And it's not good. Now, I have a problem, personally, because I am highly interested in seeing how they bring back Polaris and Havoc and that team. So I'm very interested to see where they are, what they've been doing, and how they're going to come back into the fold. So I'm kind of tied to the story regardless of whether or not I think it's good or the art's good. And in this case, the art to me is really bad. There's a lot of situations where the facial expressions look odd, or there's shadows in weird places. Magneto's helmet is almost always terrible. Here's another example of the terribleness. That's not how like a helmet shaped like his helmet would look if you were looking at him at that angle. And then there's even situations where people have funny expressions on their face during weird situations. There's another Magneto. Magneto sticks out a lot because his helmet was pretty bad throughout the whole thing. But there's another one in here where Rogue is getting her face crunched in or whatever, and she's spun around, but then she's looking directly into camera at the same time. And like the anatomy of that whole situation at the same time of these facial expressions with these weird eyes at the same time looks really bad. But then there's other times like this close-up of this face that doesn't look bad at all, if you can, manage to just look at those panels and not anything else. I mean, the art was bad enough for me that there's a point in here where Frenzy is watching Magneto take over or stop these two groups from fighting. They teleport across space and they show up at some other place and they're trying to figure out what's going on, but then there's a bunch of people fighting, so they have to stop them at the same time. Let me find that panel. Here it is. So here he is trying to stop them from fighting each other, and she says down here, "That's why I became an acolyte." That's it right there. That's Magneto or whatever. But I can't even tell what the F is going on in this picture here. Is he being shot at? Is he holding his body weird? Is he reflecting the bullets? I don't know what these explosions are. I cannot tell for the life of me what made her so in awe of what's happening here. He did walk up to the aliens right after, and they said something and ran away, but I don't think that's what she was talking about. I thought she was talking about his display of power here, which is very poorly displayed. So unfortunately, I'm going to cut to the chase here. This book would normally be a 1 out of 5 or a 2 out of 5, and I would not buy it again if this was the first time that I saw this kind of result. The story's not very interesting. There's nothing really there to grab you right away. You get a lot of Shi'ar, which I don't know a lot of people that are really into Shi'ar kind of stories. And then you get bad art on top of it. Now, he's a professional, and he's obviously done a lot of work out there, but it definitely is not my cup of tea. It's not something that I like at all. And I'm probably going to stay away from books that is done in this manner in the future. But I really want to find out what happens to these characters and how they come back. So will I probably keep buying it? Probably, unfortunately, and I'll probably have to suffer through it because of that. But at least you got a splash of some of those characters. Although I don't really care about that Rooksher or whatever. He's got that anime hair that's all over the place these days. Now I realize the Shi'ar have feathers for hair, which I told a guy earlier last week, and he didn't really know that was ever the situation. He thought they just had weird pointy heads or their hair was really weird. But it's actually feathers, so I imagine feathers are harder to comb, and face feathers might be difficult and stuff, but it sure comes off a lot like a lot of anime hair that looks kind of stupid among people with, regular looking hair, relatively. Anyway, and then the cone heads up here at the same time that are apparently Shi'ar as well. So there you go. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. X-Men Legacy number 254. I really wish that it was better than it is because I want to find out what's happening in this story. If the art was great, I could kind of overlook the weirdness with the story that's happening here, the uninterestingness. But because the art is so bad, I can't overlook it at all. And in most cases, I would drop this and not buy it again. And maybe I won't buy the next issue if I remember. But I probably will because I want to see what happens here again. So there you go, X-Men Legacy 254, 2 out of 5. If you like that review, if you like my opinions and want to hear about other ones, you can check out my reviews on YouTube under Spidey207 or elsewhere like the Marvel and DC databases, iFanboy, Comic Vine. I think that's it for right now. Under Peteparker instead of Spidey207 because that's usually the handle that I go by. But no matter if you check out other ones or if this is your last one ever because you loved this X-Men Legacy issue, I appreciate you listening, and maybe we'll talk to you next time.